Oh, get ready, get ready, get ready. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you my best memory is a very, very long story because a lot happened, and it's just I have to say BronyCon 2015 as a whole because everything just overlays into each other. So I'm gonna try and keep it brief, but here is the story. So my first BronyCon 2015, as I said earlier, I was being a panelist and so that meant free badge. My parents did not want me staying at BronyCon overnight under any circumstances because I was still their little girl and they did not like trust me to be by myself like at all. And so what happened was I was able to convince them to let me stay for one night because I had a panel the next day. So I went Thursday, which was day zero, and that was where I met my friend Kieran, the one with the poi, right? Also known as Boss Boy. So that's where I met him. And then I remember after picking up my badge, we didn't really have anything to do, and my friend Sarah had to go and do her makeup with her brother. Her and her brother like dress up as fawns. They're really, really cool. And they do each other's makeup. It's absolutely adorable. So I had nowhere to go. So Boss Boy was like, "Hey, do you want to just stick with us?" And I was like, "Sure." I was really nervous and shy at the time, but like we became pretty fast friends. So we're sitting outside the BronyCon Convention Center, and that's where I met my friend Steven, also known as Superfluous Mess. He is from England. He I remember I was talking to him and he was holding up a Five Guys burger. And while we were talking, I noticed that there was this guy kind of coming up behind him. He was homeless. And I'm just like watching him because he's like just sneaking up. And my friend is holding his burger. He's holding it like out, kind of. And this guy just walks up right behind him and takes a bite of this guy's burger while it's still in his hand. And it's like slow motion. I'm just staring like, I did not think I would ever witness this. It's like, wow. And my friend's his head just slowly turns to see this homeless man just eating his burger like out of his hand. And he's just like, sorry, can I help you? And he ends up just giving the guy his burger in total defeat. And this dude just stuck around. And we like straight up, one of my friends had like this giant boombox. He started playing music. Boss Boy was swinging the poi, and this dude's just munching on a burger. And all of a sudden, like kind of like just like dancing to the music because the music was pretty lit. Like we played Ken Ashcorp's 20% Cooler with like the Alex S remix. I absolutely love that song. And I remember dancing, and the homeless guy was dancing with us, and it was like just such harmony. Oh my god. Um, and we sat there like all night until like almost 4 in the morning, just drawing. Like we just like after a point we sat down, we started drawing, and then Boss Boy invited us to into the hotel lobby, and we ordered pizza, and we just sat there all night talking and bonding, and it was great.
I think another one of my best memories is the trailer for the My Little Pony movie had just come out, and then the soundtrack. So it was one small thing. And I saw Princess Skystar and I was in love. And one of my best friends, Sarah, who I actually went to high school with, who's like probably the best Pinkie Pie I know. This is like a different girl that I was just telling you about. I know so many really wonderful Pinkie Pies. But Sarah was always really, really big into mermaids and sea ponies. And she was like, I'm going to cosplay Sea Pony Pinkie Pie. And I was like, I'm going to cosplay Sky. And so we went to LA, Equestria LA. So we were both guests. And we got to share a room and we got to like stand side by side doing our makeup and dressing up as Pinkie Pie and Sky Star. And we walked downstairs and there was just such a positive energy from really everybody in the convention hall. And we got to run kids panels where we got to sing one small thing. And we got interviewed by, I think it was the LA Post, but we ended up in the newspaper with our friend Maddie too. And just being Sky Star in Pinkie Pie was just so much fun. I could hardly walk because it was a weird mermaid dress. So I was just kind of just waddling around. But and then the convention head Casey gave us each Sea Pony books that were autographed by the illustrator, and she was telling us how thankful she was for all of our hard work. And we really did work so hard, and we very rarely get that kind of thanks and appreciation. So it was just really nice, and getting to spend time with, a good friend from high school several years later, dressed up as some of our favorite ponies. And the reason why Skystar was like instantly my favorite pony is because I love Kristen Chenoweth. I love Wicked. I love Broadway. I love her. So even though I didn't know much about the character when I was making the cosplay, I already knew. I was like, I love Kristen Chenoweth. And it was so fun. Oh, I miss it. I miss God.
So then the next day was the panel. And I remember not feeling so well after that because I was really fatigued. So my parents ended up picking me up and driving me home. And then the next morning, before my parents could even like think, like they'd also just woken up. It was like 9 a.m. You have me sprinting out of the house like Bilbo from The Hobbit, being like, "I'm going on an adventure, Mina. I'm going back to Baltimore so I could go to Con." I sprinted to like the train station, caught the MARC train into Baltimore, caught a taxi down to the convention center. My parents were so pissed at me for going back because they thought I was done, but I was like, haha, no. So I went back and my parents had the rule, okay, you can stay, but you have to be back home tonight. And I was like, okay, fine. I was not back there home tonight because I missed the train. Funny story. So as the BronyCon train continues, fast forward, it is like I want to say 8 at night. The train leaves at 9. So my friend Steven, this like a like lovely British gentleman, wants to keep me safe because it's Baltimore at 9 at like 8 o'clock at night and it's sketchy as hell. So we catch one of the I forgot what they're called. It's like a tram or something that goes up to like Penn Station. So we catch that, and none of us are local to Baltimore, so we don't really have much of an idea. So I was like, okay, we'll just ask a local. So I'm like, hey, dude, do you live here in Baltimore? And he's like, yes, we do. Turns out, no, they didn't. They were drunk and they were from Mexico. They were visiting. They were not locals, and they said they were locals, causing us. We're like walking by Micah, the art school, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is not where the train station is going. Like, are you guys sure you're from around? They're like, no, we're from Mexico. I'm like, but we're local. And so causing us, I have a flip phone because my parents didn't like get smartphones for me and my brother. I have a flip phone. I'm calling my mom, be like, Mom, I might not make it home tonight because we took directions from a couple of drunk tourists. And so we sprint back. By the time we get to Penn Station, the train has left. Like it was just leaving. There was no time for me to board, and I was like, no. Oh my god. So Steven is like, it's okay. We'll figure something out. Steven, his room was, he didn't have a hotel room at anywhere near the convention. His was like a couple blocks away, and it was kind of sketchy there. So so staying in his room was out, and only so I walk back defeated, and I try to find one of my friends he's at Quills and Sofas, which was the artists like the after artist alley area for artists. Like they would go and they would network there, right? And so I have my sketchbook in hand. I'm just drawing and like trying to chill after that whole thing. Um my mom was pissed, but she wasn't gonna come bail me out this time, so it's like rightfully so. So I'm sitting at Quills and Sofas and I'm talking to some of the other artists, and I was really surprised because a lot of artists would look at my art and thought that I was good. And I was like, no. Like, 'cause these were people that were vending stuff. They were selling their art and they were phenomenal. And they thought that my art was good. It took me so bad. Like, I was taken aback.
So BabsCon in 2019, I know I'm mentioning BabsCon like multiple times at this point, but there's one thing that stuck out to me the most was Bill Noon was invited, actually both years actually, and so back in 2019, I'm just wandering around the floor of the convention of the con space, like in the hotel lobby. And I'm just wandering around and I see Bill Noon just walking around, and then he spots me. He said, "Hey Taylor, do you want to go crash some panels with me? And I said, yeah, sure. I'll be more than happy to. And so I'm just laughing the entire time. And then he and I went up to go to the restaurant that's above the Hyatt Regency, like just to go have a drink. And he and I are just sitting there chatting about voice actor stuff and, you know, personal stuff that he's dealing with up in Canada. And it was really nice. You know, not many GOHs will do that for an attendee, but, you know, Bill, I've known Bill for a long time. I've known him for like 3 years now. And he and I talk on a daily basis on just other things and just catching up on things. And it's really nice, you know. That's definitely one of my favorite moments of just me and Bill just going around to um, any of the con spaces around the conventions around Babs.
Oh, this is tough. This is tough. Oh. 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 I got the best one. It was at, I think it was the last BabsCon, the one that was the last one open before the pandemic hit. It was oh, it was in the main hall. It was the main event of Hooves Line Is It Anyway, done by AC Race Best, Saber Spark, Dusty Cat, who has recently had a birthday. Happy birthday, Dusty. But yeah, they were doing a segment called, basically they were doing a little like innuendo segment called If You Know What I Mean. And it was so hilarious. It was so well put out that literally me and 3 other people in the very front row had to hit the floor because we were gasping for air. We were laughing so hard. We were out like lights. In fact, it was filmed. It was recorded by AC Race Best. And at that part, if you listen loudly, you will hear just the 4 of us hit the floor and just grabbing our guts, laughing. It was so, I had tears in my eyes. I was gasping for breath. At the end of it, even Dusty like called us out, like these 4 guys in the front row just died. We were just dead. It was hilarious and it was beautiful. Oh, I hope they do that skit again someday.
I have to say my best memory has to be from BronyCon 2019. I got the opportunity to sing as part of the Superband choir on stage, which was something I have only dreamed about before that. I never even thought I would step foot on the BronyCon stage at all, let alone as part of something just so massive and like as awesome as that was. So like I'd be listening to BronyCon sets driving through rural Oregon and just going, man, that would be cool to be able to perform on that stage. And to have that opportunity to sing with so many other talented people while a live band is playing and there's an audience that's just giving you so much energy. The biggest audience I've ever seen at any pony convention. And just, like I said, there's just so much energy there. And that was just so special. And following that, of course, getting to go up on stage and dance with everyone else to Odyssey's 2019 remix of Discord. That whole experience was just, that is probably my favorite moment of any convention.
I think my best memory from any, well, I gotta tie. There's 2, so I don't know if that's okay. All right, so my best memory from any convention would definitely be the first time I rolled up to the airport at my first PonyCon, which was BronyCon 2017. I was meeting someone who I've never met in person before. I flew to a state I've never been in before to meet someone, you know, from over the internet who said they'd be there at the airport to pick me up. And the expression on my face whenever, you know, I got to see somebody that I've talked to for hours and hours on Discord or, whatever, and who had convinced me that, it was something I could go to and they would be happy to see me there, was, like unforgettable. Like it was really just an amazing experience to get to meet all these people that I've never seen before, but like already fast friends with, because that's not something that is experienced normally in everyday life. So it was a surreal experience. My first con was a really great time. But first being at the airport and like getting picked up and that car ride, all that stuff was so exciting because it was just a bunch of friends. And that kind of changed the way that I perceive cons as a whole, because I had seen them before and I'm like, well, I don't know if this is really my thing. I don't know if I want to travel all that, like what do they do? That definitely kind of set it in my mind, okay, I'm coming here next year again. I think my other half of that answer would be from the con staff perspective. When you're like the day before the con and it's 2 a.m. and you've been up for like 20 something hours setting stuff up and like dragging pieces of equipment like out of the back of a van or a truck, and you're like just surrounded by your friends, like, all being stupid and, trying to rush everything to get it done last minute. Like, there's something really exciting about, like, you feel like you're part of something, and like to see all that come together is really satisfying. But like in the middle of like the hard work and those crazy hours, like that's where it kind of like it feels worth it, because you're like, this is what I came here for, and it's just fun.
One of my favorite YouTubers was at that convention because he lived local to the area, and he saw this one girl crying at there's like a cafe, and she was off at this table by herself, and she is with her friends, and her friends are trying to cheer her up, and he just walks his 6 foot tall self, 6'5" tall self over there, plops himself at their table, and just starts rolling off some comedy, trying to cheer her up, trying to talk to her. And he's like, I'm not leaving until you're happy again, because you deserve it, sort of thing. And just to see him come out of that, like to sort of be like, yes, I'm this big YouTuber, like, hi, I'm a quote unquote celebrity. But to see him actually like care like that, I think was one of the coolest things I've ever seen at a con.